Chris Johnson, it's an absolute pleasure to have you here today, my man. Mate, I always love chatting with you. And I guess a key part of your success over the past 3 months is showing up to every coaching call that we've been having. So, mate, I'm super excited to jam with you on this. Mate,
my problem was finding a way and getting motivated to lose weight.
and why do you think that was?
Well, 2 years ago, I had lost weight using like keto type methods, and the holiday seasons that followed, the last two holiday seasons, I was gaining the weight back. I was having problems trying to specifically do that diet and or figuring out anything else to do that would help with the weight.
So initially, following like a keto style plan, was like it was working, obviously.
I mean, if I would have been diligent and really hammered down, and because I had talked to somebody and gave me a list of foods to eat, and I, for whatever reason, had a hard time trying to locate where I had that list. I sort of knew some of the things to eat, but that's when I talk about not only the way, but I talk about motivation as well. Because sometimes a person can have a plan, but you still have to be able to execute it and keep executing it. I am 51 years old, and I am a environmental health engineer.
So you sort of sedentary a fair bit during the day?
I sit most of the day. I do not really get out of the office. I review plans that we receive through a portal. So I review plans on a computer screen. So yes, I have a sit-down job. I'll say almost two-part, and then I'll explain. It would have been under normal circumstances in person and price. If without COVID, ideally I would have wanted a personal trainer that I physically would have met with, most likely at a gym. The other thing would be how much would it cost? But COVID, and seeing that you were showing how to do videos or how to do exercises in your house, and with talking with you and coming up with plans of doing multiple exercises in the house that can meet different body parts, that was great. And then when we discussed the price for the amount of time that I would be working with you, the price reasonable. There was only one other time that I had worked with a personal trainer, and it was at gym, and I only had the person for like 4 or 6 weeks. Almost sort of like one of those introductory, when you join the gym, they hook you up with the person and they give you that real low introductory type of pricing thing. And that was over 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So I don't know that I really had a whole lot of built up, like I didn't have like a checklist for you.
Gotcha.
I knew in the back of my mind that as you talked about nutrition, there's some things that I knew, and I was hoping I would hear you say them, or I would hear you be able to further elaborate. And when we do have our Zoom meetings, you are able to suggest certain things that I have heard, and you're able to go in depth. And then the funny thing is I'm able to research and find that what you're saying is quite true. To the extent that I knew certain things that health and fitness should generally entail, I did have my ears looking for those types of things. And like I said, based off of our meetings and the things that you were suggesting, I'm like, yeah, he's got me headed in the right direction with the three-pronged approach, the eating clean, counting calories and exercise. Well, it's perfect that you asked that based on what I was just talking about, the three-pronged approach. By using a three-pronged approach to weight loss,
Yeah.
which, like I said, was eating cleaner, calorie limiting, and the exercise, I have lost 20 pounds or 9 kilos in 12 weeks, which is 1/4 of your yearly program. The future seems a lot lighter and brighter for me. I feel and look better, and I'm starting to believe that in the remaining 9 months, I will be able to keep this going after the training is.
Chris, what specific?
Probably sort of answered the two-parter to that.
Yeah, mate, incredible. And I always say this is always the beginning. It's just the beginning, and we're just getting started. So
I said basically the utilization of the free downloadable app, which is funny because the first 4 weeks, maybe almost the first 6, but definitely the first 4 weeks of the 12-week program, I did not download it. I was not using that. Once I started using the MyFitnessPal, which is free downloadable app, that allowed me to track what I was eating. It allowed us to look at the calories that I was eating daily and weekly.
Yep.
It allowed us to see if I was hitting our protein goals that we're having daily and weekly. And then there's a whole bunch of other information that it's given me. Yep. And I've kind of used that, even though our focus is calorie consumption and protein for the most part.
Yep.
Along with me doing the exercise and eating clean, then I'm doing the program. But I have to admit, I really am excited, and I excitedly talk to other people about the MyFitnessPal aspect for the calorie counting.
Dude, and just to give the audience a bit of context to this.
Well, see, that's the beauty of this. I am consumed with the app. I'm consuming less, but I'm eating more nutrient-dense food. See, unfortunately, if you're not tracking, and if you aren't a dietitian, and you don't know that this item that I'm eating has this many calories, this much sugar, this much fat, this much cholesterol, this much protein, unless only a dietitian would be able to do it without tracking, but they don't know how much they're eating. Because this also makes me look at the amount I eat. It makes me look at what I eat and what's in what I eat, and I do sort of think about the amounts that I eat, because that's the way you track this in a sense. So it helps. I did write it helps me make better food choices throughout the day.
Love that, man.
The Leeway Fitness offers a 3-pronged approach to weight loss. I know from personal experience, I tried one thing, and surprisingly, the one thing worked for a while. It's much easier to sit on a stool that has 3 legs as opposed to a stool that only has 1 leg. Ooh. 1 leg, you're balancing on that stool. 2 legs, you're balancing. 3 legs, you're supported. Anyways, I also say that, the eat clean or cleaner, the at-home exercises, especially given the COVID-19 and the calorie tracking. And then there's the 1-week Zoom meetings to discuss the program, talk about our progress in terms of each of the people on the Zoom meeting, and then we go over various informational items. And we had times where we talk about stuff that are just inspirational. So the program is nicely put together. in terms of 3 ways to approach fat loss, along with conversation, discussion, and inspiration type things.
Yeah. Mate, I noticed we
The
had.
walking is good as well. Implementing the walking separate from the exercise.
Yeah. And mate, it wasn't all fat loss and weight loss chats. We had a lot of just general life chats, didn't we, over the last 90 days?
Yes. The good thing is I didn't put inspiration in a bounds. There were thought-provoking type conversations. A lot of them would lend towards inspiration. Yeah, it's a lot of it dealt with lifestyle, and that's beauty.
Yeah.
Is as you do this is a lifestyle change, and that's what will probably make this more successful for an individual, is when they start realizing that the process is leading towards a lifestyle change. One thing I'd say is this process in a great way to handle some of the stress of this global pandemic that we're in.
Yeah.
A lot of people are stressed, really stressed. People talk about it at home with my family, friends, coworkers, and a lot of people, if they're not conscious, they're gaining weight because people are sympathy eating or comfort food eating.
Yeah.
So this has been a great way to handle stress of this global pandemic. Also, I have new contacts in the land down under, Australia. There's 2 people that I know in Australia that I did not know before. Well, I reside in Vegas, and as we found each other on a post on LinkedIn, I am on LinkedIn,
yeah,
as well. So,
dude, it's crazy how things happen. Like, I left a comment on a post on LinkedIn just so the audience knows, and Chris seen it and then checked out my profile, and then we got chatting in the message, and this is where we are now, mate. So, Chris, thank you so much for today, man. I'm super thankful and grateful to be working with you. And mate, this is just the beginning. We've got another 9 months together. So I'm super pumped to see what we can do with that and start maintaining those results as well. So Chris, thank you so much, man. Really appreciate you. And mate, looking forward to what's to come.
Glad to have met you. Thank you for helping me meet some goals and to get here.
Boom. And what were we going to say?
There is another thought in terms of, is there anything else you'd like to add? And we've talked about this, and we almost let this slip. At this point, I'm not, the blood pressure medication is just sitting in the shelf.
Dude, I completely forgot about that. Let's jam on that.
Well, I have been prescribed blood pressure medication and been taking it the last 20 years. I've had doctors during physicals always encouraging me to exercise, and I sort of saw that when I wasn't exercising, then all of a sudden the dosages were increasing in these last 3 or 4 years, and it wasn't the goal, but in doing this program, all of a sudden I'm starting to feel lightheaded and my legs are starting to feel heavy. And I remembered the doctor that prescribed them said, if you ever mistakenly take 2 pills, your legs can feel heavy and or you may feel lightheaded. Well, when that happened 2 or 3 times in a week, I incidentally had to go see a doctor in June to get more prescriptions. And I explained to him, he said, oh yeah. He said, with you doing this program and you're losing weight and you're changing your eating, the eating and the weight are what primarily probably had you needing to take this. It can be hereditary too. But nevertheless, as we've worked through this program, these first 12 weeks, I've been able to not, these last three or four weeks, I have not really had the need.
Mate,
So that was a great unplanned side effect.
mate, and there's so many people out there that would still be like not seeing any future for themselves to be actually able to get off that medication as well. So, mate, that was one goal that you wanted to achieve as well, wasn't it? When we first sat down.
Yep. Once you have to think about goals, yep.
Dude, super proud. Chris, great chatting, dude, and I hope the audience got some value out of this, mate. You're the real hero in this journey, and I'm super excited, as I always say, for what's to come. So, thanks, Chris. Really appreciate your time, man. Cheers, buddy.
All right, then.